Hello everyone, this is James and welcome to Lectures.
Today, I'll be discussing arterial blood gases interpretation. What are the components of ABG? We have number one, the pH or the potential hydrogen. pH is indispensable for oxygen transport. It is also needed for our body's biochemical processes and for correcting protein structure. Neutral pH is 7.4. Below 7.4 is acidic. Above 7.4 is alkalotic. Normal range 7.35 to 7.45. So 7.35 to 7.39, although it's within the normal range, but it is considered acidic. 7.41 to 7.45, although within the normal range, it is considered alkalotic. And then we have partial carbon dioxide or PCO2. So the partial carbon dioxide is a measure of adequate alveolar ventilation within the lungs. When we say ventilation, it is the movement of gas in and out of the lungs. Oxygenation is the delivery of oxygen to the blood and the tissue. So they're two separate entities. They're not the same. The normal range for PCO2, partial carbon dioxide, is 35 to 45. Below 35 is alkalotic. Above 45 is acidotic or acidic. And then we have the bicarb, HCO3. Bicarb neutralizes the carbonic molecules, and the blood will take that bicarb into the lungs and it will be exhaled or excreted in the form of carbon dioxide. 95% of the total carbon dioxide is bicarb. Look at your basic metabolic panel. You've got potassium, sodium, chloride. That's CO2. That is your bicarb. That is your serum bicarb. Normal range 22 to 26. Below 22, that is acidic. Above 26, that is alkalotic. And then we have the partial oxygen, PO2. It is the amount of oxygen dissolved in the blood. Normal is 80 to 100. 60 to 79, that is your mild hypoxemia. 40 to 59, that is your moderate hypoxemia, and below 40 is severe hypoxemia. And we also have the base, excess, or deficit, and that is a strong metabolic indicator. Normal is -2 to +2. Okay? So when it's above +2, that is metabolic alkalosis, and there's an excess, and if it's below -2, that is metabolic acidosis, and that is deficit. And then we have the saturation, PO2, that is the percentage of hemoglobin that is fully combined with oxygen, and the normal is 95 to 100. If it's 90 to 94, that is mild hypoxemia, and then the rest also. You have moderate and severe is less than 75. So now let's talk about the pattern. It is Rome, Italy. Respiratory opposite, metabolic equal. When you look at the pH, and the pH is low, and then the CO2 is high, that is respiratory acidosis. pH is high, CO2 is low, that is respiratory alkalosis. And that is for respiratory. And then for the metabolic, they are equal. pH is high, and then your bicarb is high, that is metabolic alkalosis. pH is low, and then your bicarb is low, that is metabolic acidosis. And let's proceed with compensation. So this is hard if you don't know, like the trick, but I'll tell you the trick. For uncompensated, you look for one value that is normal. Okay, pH is low. It's either a pH is abnormal. It's either your CO2 or your bicarb is normal. When your CO2 is normal, that is a metabolic process because it's supposed to compensate, but it's unchanged. It doesn't go up, it doesn't go down. When your bicarb is normal, CO2 is abnormal, your pH is abnormal, that is a respiratory process or respiratory disorder, because your bicarb is supposed to compensate, but it did not change. It's still normal. So again, for uncompensated, you just have to look for a normal CO2 or a normal bicarb. Only one is normal, either CO2 or bicarb. The rest are abnormal. Now we have the partially compensated. So partially compensated, this is very easy. Look at the numbers. If everything is wacky, pH is abnormal, CO2 is abnormal, your bicarb is abnormal, then that is a partially compensated. Partially compensated, I don't know, respiratory acidosis, metabolic acidosis. As long as there's no normal, nothing is normal, that is partially compensated. And now let's go to the fully compensated. Just look at the pH. If the pH is normal, bicarb and carbon dioxide are abnormal, then it is a fully compensated. Before we proceed with the exercises, I will share with you the VVG values. So right now we're doing more VVGs than ABGs. For the central VVG, the pH is lower compared to ABG, between 0.03 to 0.05. And then the carbon dioxide, CO2, is 4 to 5 higher than your ABG values. The bicarb is unchanged for central. For the peripheral, pH is 0.03 to 0.04 lower than your ABG values. The CO2 is 3 to 8 millimeters of mercury higher than your ABGs, and then the bicarb is 2 to 3 higher than your ABG values. Alright, so now let's go to the exercises. For number 1, the pH is low, carbon dioxide is high, so that's a respiratory acidosis. Partial O2 is 60, so with mild hypoxemia. But if you look at the numbers, nothing is normal, so that's partially compensated respiratory acidosis with mild hypoxemia. For number 2, the pH is low and the bicarb is low, so that's a metabolic acidosis. And if you look at the numbers, nothing is normal also, so that's a partially compensated metabolic acidosis. For number 3, the pH is high and then the carbon dioxide is low, so that's respiratory alkalosis. Look at the bicarb. The bicarb is normal, so that is uncompensated respiratory alkalosis. For number 4, the pH is high and then the bicarb is high, so that's metabolic alkalosis. But when you look at the numbers, nothing is normal, so that's a partially compensated metabolic alkalosis. For number 5, the pH is normal, but it's below 7.4, so it is considered acidic. And the bicarb is 19, which is low, so that's a metabolic acidosis. But because the pH is normal, that is a fully compensated metabolic acidosis. I have the table here for the compensation. Do not memorize this one, just understand the concept. That is all for today, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, click subscribe, like, and comment.